Hey, everybody. Welcome to Game Mess Mornings presented by MSI with me, Jeff Grubb, your host from giantbomb.com. Thank you for tuning in. In this episode, we're going to be talking about what Nintendo could have in store for its longest direct ever, and Capcom is gearing up to blitz the Switch 2 with its games. It's going to be a good one because we have Mike Minotti on the show. Mike, how are you doing?
Doing fantastic, Jeff. A Nintendo Direct announcement day is always exciting. I'm shocked they would do it so close to the Acclaim showcase, right? It seems like it's just going to take all of the oxygen out of the room, but I'm still pretty excited.
Yeah, I'll find some room in my heart for Nintendo, even though, of course, first love always is going to be Acclaim and Double J Jeff Jarrett. Are we talking over that? That's tomorrow, or is that today?
That's today, baby.
That's today. Oh, I'm so excited. I can hardly sit still. We'll be
How
talking
could you forget? It's today at 2:30 Eastern, of course.
I just didn't want to believe I could live in such a beautiful world where the Acclaim Direct was happening today. That's too amazing for me. Yeah, well, I guess we'll talk over that. That's going to be a fun time. We'll find out what they have to say. We'll talk about this Nintendo Direct as well. But Mike, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Also, before people freak out, because that's normally a Blight Club time slot, we're doing Blight Club earlier today because of the Acclaim Direct. So Blight Club is happening noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, basically right after Game Mess Mornings, probably a little bit of a break. But yes, so don't worry, you'll still be blighted plenty today. I'm great, Jeff. Been just playing a lot of Silksong and having an amazing time with that. I'm close to the end of Metal Gear Solid Delta. I made a very mature choice yesterday. I was almost at what I think is the end of the game. What I remember is the end, because I basically only have one more boss fight. And then I'm like, this is a Kojima game. That one boss fight and all the cutscenes is probably going to take 2 hours. I should go to bed now do that later.
Impressive. That means that you were up bright and early for this show, so I appreciate that, Mike.
Right. Well, then I went to bed and played like 3 hours of Silksong, but still, I was going to do that no matter what.
So. Right, that counts as right. Yeah, exactly. So you got that started 2 hours earlier. Very good. All right.
I see everybody's mic is up early jokes. Look, I know I play up my negative attributes a bit. I can wake up for things. I have this ability.
I think what they're saying, some people are definitely like, I can't believe Mike actually got up. Mike can wake up, but let's be clear, Mike, it is still early for you, right?
Oh, I usually am not up or am waking up around now, but I can wake up. That one time I was late for a meeting, it's not because I knew there was a meeting and slept through it. It's because I forgot there was a meeting.
It's a whole other issue, everybody. Get your criticisms of Mike right. Come correct to this man.
Yeah.
All right.
Get out of here, Chris/brother. Stop. leave me alone.
Let's explain what we do here. We're Giant Bomb. You can go to giantbomb.com/join, become a premium member. It gets you ad-free versions of the show, gets you some extra goodies. We had the town hall last week. Some Q&A questions were answered. We have our extra voicemail dump truck question, which we're going to do weekly. So you can get all of that if you're a premium member. That's giantbomb.com/join. It also enables us to keep doing all the cool stuff that we get to do and like improving things and kind of finding other ways of expressing the Giant Bomb ethos. We really appreciate everyone who's come through. It means a lot. We see the support.
Ethos?
It's mostly just let Mike cook. I think that's what it is.
I want to make a show called Mega Man where I don't play Mega Man. Okay, Mike.
All right, just let him go. It's best to just let him finish. All right. As far as this show goes, most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS feed on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. All right, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with September 2025 Nintendo Direct announced. This is for Nintendo Everything. A new Nintendo Direct presentation will take place on Friday, September 12th. It's just been announced. It will air at 6 a.m. Pacific time, 9 a.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. in the UK, 3 p.m. in the rest of Europe, or in the next time zone in Europe, I guess. This will last about 60 minutes, covering games for both the Nintendo Switch 2 and Switch. Mike, that is the longest direct ever for just a normal like game stream, not one for like a console reveal. They've done longer when they've revealed consoles because they have to talk about the hardware and the software. This is going to be the longest one of these traditional, just normal style directs. Do you take any sort of implication away from that little tidbit of information?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I'm just expecting there to be a lot now. There's, I imagine that they would prefer to keep it at that 40-minute mark that they seem to like so much. The fact that they're going to 60 minutes shows that there is a lot of things, whether it's because there are a lot of partner obligations, perhaps, or just interesting third-party things to talk about. I mean, there's a lot we're expecting at this one. We'll get into a bit, but Mario stuff. Metroid Prime. There's no way Metroid Prime doesn't get its release date here. I guess there's a way, but almost certainly not. We'll finally hear about when that is coming out. There's Hyrule Warriors needs a release date as well. We got to kind of learn a bit about some new games. What is going to be 2026's big game? It's going to be time to at least reveal what that is and give us something to be excited about, especially all those people picking up Switch 2s during the holiday season. We're going to have plenty of games to play this holiday, but they also want to know what's in store for the future.
Yeah, I mean, just hearing that 60-minute number and kind of, who knows what the specifics are. But to me, that says like, okay, yeah, it is really time to kick off the big blitz into the holidays for Nintendo. So why would they hold back? If the whole idea is get this console off to a strong start, the reasons you would normally hold back is you don't want to make promises you can't keep, and delaying games is painful and annoying. But they are trying to really set this console up for success, and every sort of good feeling they can create now will pay off later. So yeah, why wouldn't it be everything? Why wouldn't it be Metroid Prime 4's release date? Why wouldn't it be the Mario anniversary that lines up perfectly with this release date? Why wouldn't it be the 2026 games, including like catching us up on the Nintendo Switch 1 Switch games they announced for 2026, Tomodachi Life and Rhythm Heaven, but also what are the 2 Switch 2 games that we really have to look forward to in the first 6 months of next year? At 60 minutes, and with their goal here of really setting this up for a strong holiday, I'm expecting it all. Now, does that mean it's like we're going to see the next 3D Mario? Probably not still. But they could hint at it at the very least. I'm really expecting a lot here. Do you think that's fair?
I was literally thinking about that because, you have here Andy Robinson kind of teasing a little bit about like, I'm in a big Mario mood this week, he says. So that's Andy from VGC, and Andy knows what's going on. So maybe that's an innocuous skeet there. But,
it's not.
It's not. Yeah, so there's going to be Mario announcements. There's that 40th anniversary, and there are things that make pretty easy sense, like a new Super Mario Brothers collection of the games we don't have on there yet. There could be other surprise remakes. I didn't think we were going to get a 1,000-Year Door remake. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. And that happened. But there's so many other things they can do. You could do Switch 2 editions of things like 1,000-Year Door. We don't have a Switch 2 edition of Mario Odyssey, even though the patch we got for that was just really good on its own. But again, it seems so early because we just got Bonanza from that team, but maybe there's a world where there is just the slightest teaser for that 3D Mario game. I'm not expecting it, but it's not completely off the table.
Yeah, I think that, Andy Robinson say I'm in a big Mario mood this week. That is him saying that, surrounded by then information about other things that could be in this direct, and then very quickly after this, the confirmation of the direct happening. And Andy didn't seem surprised, but the fact that was announced today. So yeah, I'm sure this is insinuating something. I think it's like we could set our sights as high as a new Mario gets teased, a new big 3D Mario. Could be something slightly less than like Super Mario Maker 3 to show off the mouse controls. That's possible for sure. And then what else could they do? It's probably not just one thing is what I'm guessing. Well, here. It probably is quite a few announcements now. Small stuff, and then a collection, and then maybe a game like Mario Maker 3. I could see it going that way.
I mean, Sunshine was promised for NSO, right?
Sure.
So maybe that's the next GameCube game that's coming out this month. We hear about that. Again, there's so many Mario games that you forget about. They can announce another sports game at any moment.
Right.
There are
a baseball game.
There's a million things you can do with Mario at any given point. So trying to track down exactly what it can be is difficult. But yeah, Mario Wonder could get a Switch 2 edition, or maybe even one of the bigger Switch 2 editions with an expansion, like we saw with Kirby and Dragoon. That's a game that's pretty easy to do an expansion for. Here's just a new set of levels.
Yep. The new theme, two new themes, some like really fun, wacky stuff out of nowhere. Yeah, they could really run with that. Add
another playable character, because I mean the playable characters don't have different movesets or anything. They all control the same in that one. So here's the Wario and Waluigi, right? I'll buy that.
I would be very excited about that. Yeah. And then of course the Mario movie 2 is coming out next year.
Super Mario World, which is not a confirmed name. Is it a confirmed name? I can't remember, but yeah, we all know it's called that. It is a name that
they used in official material from NBC Universal.
That's right.
So that's what people are like, okay, that could have been an accident. It could have been someone assuming that's the name. It could be a working title. It could be the official name, but it was used by Universal themselves. That is who makes those movies, right? I know it's Illumination, but Universal.
It's Universal, yeah.
So yeah, I think we 60 minutes feels like enough times for the games and a little 5-minute talk about the movie as well, and maybe an update about the Zelda movie. That's possible here as well. But
forgetting they announced cast members and things. I still refuse to think about that movie very much.
Right, exactly. It just feels like it's not worth getting my hopes up, because even if it does happen, which I think is still like a 50-50 chance. I know Nintendo's on a roll with this stuff, but a 50-50 chance that movie ever gets made. A much lower percentage chance that movie is something that I end up enjoying. So why get my hopes up? All right, well, let's stick with this Nintendo Direct theme. You mentioned, you gestured to this. Metroid Prime 4 rated again as Nintendo Direct news is expected and now confirmed. This is from Andy Robinson at VGC. As spotted by journalist Necro Felipe Lima, the Retro Studios Switch 2 sequel has passed classification in Brazil and has been issued a +14 rating, basically a teen rating. But yeah, the game's been rated in yet another country. That adds, I think it was rated in Saudi Arabia. I think it was rated in South Korea. Those I'm iffy on. We know it was rated by the ESRB. We talked about it on this show. That's the United States Classification Board. And as always, we point out 6 weeks is not an unreasonable thing to expect for a release date for a game that's been rated by one of these boards, especially the ESRB. We are coming up on that time frame here very quickly, so we are expecting to get that release date for Metroid Prime 4 on Friday at this Nintendo Direct. Mike, what do you think that release date is?
That is the question, because of all of these ratings, it could be soon. Now, I know they shadow drop Metroid Prime Remastered. They're not going to shadow drop Metroid Prime 4. Well,
especially when they could just shadow drop 2 and 3 in the meantime. They could do that.
I hope so. So it's like, just how much can they get away with here? Because they already have an October game. Is that
Pokemon?
Right?
Yeah, that's Pokemon, right?
Right. So Pokemon is October. November is Kirby Air Riders. Now, Kirby Air Riders isn't gigantic.
I think that's late November.
Yeah. So maybe Metroid Prime 4 in an early November. There's a part of me that maybe I'm just optimistic. It could come out this month. It could come out by the end of September.
Well, I mean, that's 6 weeks from the ESRB rating that got leaked. That would put it at the end of September. So yeah, that's possible.
Yeah, so that right. I mean, December also seems possible. Dan Riker in chat thinks Metroid's getting delayed. Now, Dan Riker has had some pretty good Fantasy Critic luck since he had Silk Song, so maybe it will continue. But again, if it was for all these ratings, I would maybe think that, but I don't know. It seems like this thing is coming out this year still.
Yep, exactly. And so I think we probably get it announced this week, and then I'm going to put my guess at still early November, because I'm trying not to get my hopes up for it coming out this month. Although, some other stuff that could happen at this thing, like Hades 2 could get a release date, and that release date, they could legitimately shadow drop Hades 2 1.0.
That it would be one of the most unhinged things ever to shadow drop Hades 2 while we are all in the middle of Silk Song.
It puts a pit in my stomach to think about, because I'm gonna really want to play Hades 2, and I'm gonna be in the middle of Silk Song. That's crazy. But that really could happen. Now they're aware. They know what's going on. They know everyone's playing Silk Song, so maybe they don't shadow drop it. But that game could come out very, very quickly, and it's another one that I think almost certainly we get a release date for that in this Direct, because they have a close relationship with Nintendo. The game is launching as a console exclusive, not because they have some deal with Nintendo, but just because it's easier to support one console at first for the studio. and the Switch is where it sells the most. So it's going to be on Switch and Switch 2 at first. And so, yeah, showing up in the Direct makes sense. So, yeah, there's a lot of other stuff that could be in there that could fill up our gaming time very quickly. So figuring out release dates for these things is a little bit funky.
Yeah, and it's because, I'm just trying to think, what are the good empty slots here? Because there is a little bit at the end of September. Now there's Final Fantasy Tactics Evil's Chronicles, which is definitely going to take up a lot of my time, but you could release something along that, especially maybe a Hades 2. October, you have Pokemon right in the middle of that. Dragon Quest 1+2 HD Remake later in the month. Persona 3 Reload comes to Switch U also October 23rd. Right. But then, November is Kirby Air Riders on the 20th. So I definitely see earlier in November, later in September. And then December is actually still pretty empty as far as games announced for the Switch. There's Octopath Traveler 0 on December 4th. So there's got to be something for December, whether that's Metroid Prime 4 or maybe something, there could be something new we hear about that still comes out this year that is on a smaller scale. I don't know if I 100% am counting on that, but it's a possibility.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, you're right. There's this schedule is booked up quite a bit right now.
Since we don't have dates for like Elden Ring Tarnished Edition, which we're all super optimistic about right now. And then, Iroh Warriors they keep saying winter. Does that mean this year, next year? We don't know. There's Final Fantasy 7
specifically say
integrate.
winter, so they don't have to choose. Is what we've been told. Is like they actually like to do that in case they want to move it to early 2026.
I kind of like Age of Imprisonment as a December game because I want to use December to mostly catch up on games, and that's a game I'm not going to feel too pressured to jump into immediately, right?
I mean, even if I do, I'm not going to feel pressure to finish that game. I'll dabble in it and see what it's like, sort of
just
thing.
A little dabbling.
If Hades 2 is not out very soon, I think the right move for that game is Christmas Day. I was telling you this last night. I think a digital only game that people can pick up the day that they either get a system as a gift or they have some time off from work and everyone's sitting around looking for. They got gift cards or whatever. They're looking for something to get on the eShop. I think that would be a strong move for that. Now, do I want to wait that long? In this moment, kind of, yeah, because there's so many other games I want to be playing, but we'll see.
I keep forgetting about Splatoon Raiders also, which has no release window or anything like that, but that could come out whenever.
We got all of the other smaller addition stuff. So the Kirby and the Mario Party stuff, those were the only of that tier. The only things
right.
That tier,
and Splatoon Raiders is a standalone. So it's not that, but it's a game. It's something.
All right. Still sticking on this topic for the most part, all 6 Resident Evil RE engine Resident Evil games, because RE doesn't stand for Resident Evil, it stands for Reach for the Moon, including Requiem, are reportedly coming to Switch 2. This is from Chris Scullion at VGC. All 6 of the Resident Evil games that run on Capcom's RE engine are getting Switch 2 ports, according to a Capcom insider. Dusk Golem, who has a long record of reporting information about video games before it has been made public, claims that ports of every Resident Evil game that was developed with the RE engine are coming to Nintendo Switch 2 sooner or later. This would not only mean ports of Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, which we were talking about as a possibility for this direct because the 3 games will have 7 in the title or have some relationship to 7, as well as Resident Evil Village and the remakes of Resident Evil 2, 3, and 4, but also a port of the upcoming Resident Evil Requiem, they claimed. If they're going to do one of these, they might as well do all of them because you're going to do the work to get this engine in a good place where the tools work on the Switch 2. If you're doing that work, you might as well release all these games, and all of them would do really well on the Switch, right?
Yeah, this is a great time for this announcement. It's September. We're getting closer to spooky season, so that's a fantastic thing for them to line up with that. They have only a couple things they can go to their own well for that, like you can put Eternal Darkness on GameCube NSO. You could do a Switch 2 edition of Luigi's Mansion 3, perhaps. But yeah, the Resident Evil games, if you got all of those on there, and and I know the scale of it is different, but the Street Fighter 6 port, and that's an RE engine game on Switch 2, looks fantastic. That has been my favorite kind of down port on the console so far. If they could get results close to that with Resident Evil 2 and 4, Village, and Biohazard, that would be an absolute dream. I mean, these are just some of the best games we've had in the last decade, right? They're especially 2 and 4 Remake. I think about them constantly, just insanely high quality. So I hope this is true for sure. Yeah, with that whole thing with the sevens, Resident Evil 7 being one of them makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, and you like start with that one, and then you really quickly probably release the rest of them, right? Like we're not talking about one of these every 6 months. I think we get one of these every month or two, or maybe even bunched up for October.
Yeah, maybe they just get them all on once. Like here they all are. Pay $100 and get all of them. I don't know if they do something like that.
I forgot that Street Fighter 6 is already engine. So yeah, that's that they have already done some work, and that game is incredible on the Switch too. So yeah, I think that they, of course, knew Switch 2 would be an important platform for them over at Capcom. I think, listening to them talk in their most recent conversation with investors when they were doing an earnings call, I think it was their CEO was saying, yeah, boy, we're looking over the Switch 2 and we're kind of even hornier to get on that thing than we were before this thing launched. So, yeah, I think they're going to go hard with all of these games, and I bet most of them will do very well. That Switch audience can be pretty insular a lot of times. It's a big audience. I'm sure a lot of them play on other platforms, but there is a strong chance that a huge percentage of them will be like, oh, I always meant to check out these Resident Evil games, but now they're on the Switch, I will definitely do so. So I expect them to sell well.
Yeah, these are games that have been kind of missing from Nintendo stuff for a bit. And Nintendo has a history of Resident Evil, and the GameCube, 3DS had Revelations. There were cloud versions of some of these games, I believe, on the Switch One, which is, at least for me, that's like, oh, that game doesn't even exist on the Switch One, really, then. So yeah, having native versions of these would just be great. I mean, as soon as we were talking about the Switch 2 and what third-party games we wanted ported to it, I was immediately thinking about Resident Evil. This is one of the first things that comes to mind.
All right, let's take a break. There's one more news story that could be related to this, might not be. We'll get to that after this break. If you want to skip out on these, you go to giantbomb.com/join, become a premium member, get the ad-free version of the show. We'll be right back. Jan, my computer's sick. I've decided it's time to start building a new one. I just don't know where to start.
Grubb, if your computer is sicky poo, you got to start with MSI, which just dropped something big in its brand new Z890 and B860 Intel motherboards.
Are those the motherboards that unlock the power of the Intel Core Ultra Series 2 CPUs?
Yes, sir. These Mobos, as we're calling them on the streets, are powerhouses for gaming, streaming, and whatever intense tasks you need to throw at them.
Okay, but Jan, you know me. I'm scared of tools. That screwdriver's so sharp.
It's okay, bud. MSI made them Jeff-proof and maybe Dan-proof as well, which means they're easy to work with. No more wrestling with tiny little screws or confusing manuals. We're talking easy debug LEDs that tell you exactly what's going on. Toolless installs for your M2 drives and GPUs, or GPUs. We're calling them GPUs too now.
Okay, hell yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. MSI has that modern BIOS as well that looks like it was actually made for humans to use, not some relic from 2003. Give me more of that.
Yes, that's right. It's going to be so easy to get secure boots on the ground. It's like PC building on easy mode, Grubb. And here's the best part. Giant Bombcast listeners, MSI is giving you 10% off these new regularly priced Z890 and B860 boards. Just head over to us-store.msi.com and use promo code BOMBCAST at checkout. Boom, instant savings.
I'm going to stack that discount. They allow you to do that. And with MSI's got ongoing promotions, that's potentially going to score me up to $120 in Steam codes. It's basically free games just for upgrading. Everyone listening should do the same.
So if you're ready to upgrade your setup, do not wait. Visit us-store.msi.com and use the code BOMBCAST, BOMCAST, all in lowercase, and give your PC the upgrade it deserves.
MSI, making PC building less of a headache and a lot more fun.
Mobo!
We're back. It's Game Mess Mornings. Jeff Grubb, Mike Minotti. Let's get back into the news with Panzer Dragoon 2 Zwei. Is that how you say that? Zwei?
It's German for two. Ein, zwei, drei.
There we go. Zwei Remake may be near release date. This is from Blair Marnell at GameSpot. In 2020, a remake of Sega's Panzer Dragoon was released on modern consoles by Forever Entertainment. Now, a remake of Panzer Dragoon 2 Zwei is on the horizon from Forever Entertainment and developers Megapixel Studio and Storm Trident. It may even be coming sooner than expected. Gematsu shared the announcement that Panzer Dragoon 2 Zwei Remake will make its public debut September 25th through the 28th at the Rainy Frog booth at the 2025 Tokyo Game Show. The publisher didn't share a release date, but the game will be available on Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, Series X and S, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 5. Panzer Dragoon 2 Zwei was originally released in 1996 for the Sega Saturn. It's a prequel to the first game. This is one that could also be in that direct, right? They could give us a date there and then show it off at Tokyo Game Show, right?
Yeah, that absolutely makes sense. There's a bunch of stuff from kind of Sega or Sega adjacent that I am hoping to see. There's a bunch of other games from that initiative to bring back retro franchises. We had Shinobi. Seems like that's doing really well, but there is still Crazy Taxi, Jet Set Radio, Golden Axe, and Streets of Rage coming from that as well.
Those are the confirmed ones. There's more beyond that as well that are rumored, yeah.
Right, exactly. There's Virtua Fighter and more games from the Like a Dragon team, of course. So also I think we're in a weird time where there's the Sonic racing game that's going to come out, and then once that's maybe they're going to wait till that releases, which I think is soon, but they're going to have to talk about the next Sonic game, the actual 3D platformer, probably the follow up to Frontiers, kind of soonish here as well. Yeah, I have like two minds because I love Panzer Dragoon. Panzer Dragoon Zwei is a fantastic game. That remake of the first one is okay.
I didn't start okay. It was like a lot of problems at launch.
Right. I actually played the original recently. You know me, I like to be like a frame rate sicko and blah, blah, blah. But something about Panzer Dragoon to me is so intrinsically tied to looking like a Sega Saturn game.
Yeah.
Warts and all in a way that's actually very beautiful. To me, it'd be like saying, we're going to remake Fear Effect. I'm like, I like the way that game looks on PS1, although I think they are I think there were rumors they were remastering that. But like, the Sega Saturn System it's one that I would absolutely want a toggle to turn on the original controls. Doesn't have that. Plus, the game, like, it looks pretty good, but Panzer Dragoon at the time was like the best looking game ever. So kind of not having the new one be one of the best looking games ever for the modern age.
Right. It's kind of what are we doing?
Right. Now, it's fine. It's not like that House of the Dead 2 remake that is depressing to look at. And, if this means more people can check out Panzer Dragoon Zwei, which was a really cool game and had this really neat system of your dragon evolving based on your playstyle. When you first find him, he can't even fly. The first level is just running on the ground. And then, like, you go off a cliff and then his little wings start moving. It's fantastic. One of the all-time great rail shooters. So, and the soundtrack, of course, just gorgeous. So excited to see more Panzer Dragoon, but I kind of wish it could be more.
Yeah, I think that's where Sega's at a little bit right now, where it's like they have their big initiative of bringing back some classic games. And it's like if these franchises are not a part of that, they're still kind of getting this sort of leftover treatment where they're letting other studios, other publishers handle the work, and they're trying to do it on the cheap. That's the sense I got from that original Panzer Dragoon release. And this one seems similar, looking at the screenshots.
It's always the confusing thing, too, because, like, the Sega-ness of it is always the emphasis. I'm like, well, don't you own Panzer Dragoon? It was even like that with Streets of Rage 4.
Streets of Rage 4, yeah. I mean, it worked out great, but that was weird.
It was weird. Like, they don't want to show the Sega logo. They don't want to do that. Here, I assume those House of the Dead remakes are in a similar situation, probably for the best. But yeah, I would just be happier if these things were getting more attention and more money. I guess I'm a little happy to get anything. But boy, I like Panzer Dragoon, and that's a series I would love to see back in full glory.
Yeah, this is also the studio Forever Entertainment. They have working with other partners, but they did that Donkey Kong Country Returns HD remaster earlier this year, and that one had some like visual issues and even some like gameplay issues that like kind of broke some of the higher tech abilities that people use in that game. And it's like, what happened here? It's like, oh, it's Forever Entertainment. They kind of phone it in. They don't really understand the games they're working with sometime. That seemed to be what happened with Panzer Dragoon. it could happen with Zwei again. And yeah, just looking at these screenshots, you're right. When I look at this screenshot here in the story from Nintendo Everything that I Googled, or My Nintendo News, it's like, yeah, that doesn't look like a Sega Saturn game, and it doesn't look like some good game released right now from like an indie studio either. Kind of just looks rough. So
yeah, it's just
that's a
again,
screenshot though.
Forever Entertainment also does those House of the Dead remakes, and they are worse than that. Yeah, it'd be so amazing if we had a studio that was doing a lot of Saturn or Dreamcast remakes, and they were amazing. Instead, we're getting this middling stuff. I just want more attention to the Saturn and Dreamcast library in general.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that Sega kind of just plows through these early games, really crushes it with bringing back classic franchises in a variety of ways, and gets back around to Panzer Dragoon in a real way as well. But we'll see. It feels like a long way off. Nintendo's patent on sub-characters could have some dire ramifications. This is from Ollie Reynolds at Nintendo Life. Nintendo, in its ongoing battle against Pocket Pair and Pal World, has been filing various patents left and right and center in the United States, the latest of which is almost certainly cause for concern. As detailed by GamesFray, patent number 12,403.39, whatever, has been granted, which essentially covers the summoning of a sub-character and letting it fight on your behalf. So think of summoning characters like a Pokemon like a pocket monster. Now, we're not sure about you, but we can already think of quite a few games that make use of such mechanics outside of Pokemon. Elden Ring, for example. Would you be able to like summon a one of the ghosts there to come fight alongside of you in that game anymore because of this? It goes into further detail and states that the sub-character can either be controlled by issuing commands, or it can act on its own accord, battling enemies automatically should any appear within the immediate vicinity. So they're really covering all their bases here, and it's like, okay, well, did you do this a long time ago, or are you talking about like the original Pokemon? Because that's more than 20 years ago. You can't patent something that's 20 years old at this point. That's crazy. But it's like, no, this sounds like the summoning in a live action virtual environment. So if you are playing Pokemon Legends and you summon a character that way to fight for you, that would be the thing that they're trying to patent, which I guess is a little bit more similar to what Pocket Pair does with Pal World. Either way, Mike, I continue to hate this. Patents for video game mechanics are bad. They're clearly not against the law or anything like that, but they are against the spirit of video games, where Nintendo has certainly copied ideas from other developers and used it to make successful video games, and they will not reciprocate because they are locking that stuff using their lawyers. And that's frustrating to see, especially in this, where we know what you're doing. You're just trying to sue Pal World out of existence.
Right. And, if you want to go after Pal World, who they definitely were poking the bear by copying the Pokemon designs so liberally, sure. But this is, wow, the idea of getting a freaking patent on sub-characters, the idea of just summoning people to fight for you, which is a mechanic in so many video games. Final Fantasy does stuff like that. What the heck is a sub-character? That is impossible to define, and where does it end? Yeah. Nintendo has invented a lot for this industry, but they didn't invent side-scrolling, right? When they made Super Mario Brothers, it was taking inspiration from things like Pac-Land that paved the way for it. So yeah, this is just an extreme reaction here. I don't know if they actually plan to litigate on patents like this, but it's still just kind of an absurd thing to do. I guess it keeps those army of lawyers busy over there.
Yeah, and I think in this case, we could expect them, to use this when they litigate. Will they go after every game that has this? No, but when they target a game, this will be one of the tools in their arsenal that they can use as a cudgel against the developer to force them into a situation where they submit or they agree to a settlement, and then give a lot of concessions to Nintendo, because Nintendo's like, if you don't, look at all these patents we have that we can use to come after your game. I don't think this would apply to something like summoning a Bahamut in Final Fantasy, because that's like a specific kind of thing. This does sound like bringing a character into your world to run along around side you. They describe it here, but that's essentially what it is. But there are a lot of games that do specifically that. If the patent has to be very specific, there are a lot of games that have done specifically that for a very long time, and most of them are not called Pokemon. So, and they were not made by Nintendo. So again, I'm always confused like how Nintendo's able to pull this off. And the answer is usually they have a lot of lawyers and they pay a lot of money for those lawyers, so they get good ones and they know what they're doing. And yeah, I expect Nintendo probably to use these things in court, especially against Pocket Pair and Pal World. Infamous devs willing to outsource remaster to another studio. This is from Avinash Jasarani at Tech for Gamers. The Infamous franchise has long been considered one of PlayStation's best-rated first-party IPs. Despite its absence from the gaming industry, fan demand for a new Infamous entry has not waned over the years. In fact, fans, now more than ever, hope to see PlayStation revisit the series. Sucker Punch itself has expressed interest in a potential return to Infamous, with the Ghost of Yotei director recently commenting on a potential re-release from a third-party team. Sucker Punch has its hands full with Ghost of Yotei and expanding this IP through the upcoming film. Therefore, outsourcing Infamous would not be such a bad idea. Speaking to Max? Max? I don't.
Mean Max.
That's probably it. The Ghost of Yotei director recently answered questions regarding the upcoming game and Sucker Punch's past releases. On the subject of Infamous, the director was first asked to rank all the games in the series. He ranked the first title as the best, suggesting that it remains his personal favorite all these years later. When asked whether he would be okay with another studio potentially reviving the series, the director showed optimism and gave the green light. He basically was just, Ben asked him, and this is one of his rapid fire interviews. Ben's really good at this. Ben asked him, hey, would you be okay if another studio came in and kind of took over or did a remaster? And the director was just like, I think that'd be great. And it was that simple, and he just sounded genuine. Do you read that as something's already happening, or he wants to be clear that the door is very open in case someone wants to do it? What's your read on it?
I don't read it as, oh, that's already happening, right?
Right.
So, it's just this quick question here from Ben. But yeah, I think the door's open. I think it's also the only way it happens. They are absolutely going to be busy at Sucker Punch with nothing but Ghost of games for at least the next decade, right? We're going to get this one. It's going to have a lot of post-launch support, I'm sure. And I'm sure they're going to go to that well at least one more time, which in these days means another 8 years of game development on that thing. So if we want to see Infamous, and part of me feels like, I don't know, maybe this is just because I never played that much Infamous, but I'm like, the doors may be closing on how much longer people are going to care about Infamous and get excited about a remake or a remaster on that thing. To me, it seems like something you want to do within the next 5 years before it's an IP that's almost just completely forgotten.
Yeah, that does happen, right? Because there's a lot of classic, if Mother 3 got announced, I think people would, or Mother 4, I guess at this point, a new Mother game got announced, people would lose their mind. There's games that even though they haven't been active or in some ways have been deactivated, if they got announced, they would pop off. But there are a lot of games, I talk about I would like a new Colony Wars. People would be like, wait, what is this, for the most part, right? And do you think Infamous could slide that far where it's completely out of sight, out of mind, and then they couldn't do a new one because they don't think the heat is there?
I mean, it's probably not that bad.
Right.
Its heyday was the PS3, which, isn't the most beloved of the PlayStation consoles. It had that one game on PS4. That wasn't even people's favorite, really, in that series. That had that expandable that people liked a lot. But, it's far from a Colony Wars level kind of thing, for sure. But, yeah, I guess I do just wonder, at some point there's the mystery returns. Even Dragon Age seemed to suffer quite a lot from a pretty long absence.
That's probably the good analog there, yeah.
Right. And, you could say, well, that game came out and people weren't incredibly hot on it. But I feel like if that game had come out 5 years after Inquisition, it just would have immediately been a hit despite a somewhat middling reception.
Yeah, exactly. That Mirror's Edge, Catalyst, that's the kind of thing we're talking about. I think it could end up in one of those situations where even if they did do it, if it wasn't the best thing in the world, people would forget it very quickly. And, bringing up Mother 3, Bander in chat points out Nintendo's a different thing because of Smash Brothers. That's this self-perpetuating advertising machine for all of their brands.
Oh, wait a second. Cole was in PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. The kids are still playing that, right?
You're right. You're right. When you're right, Mike. That's what
both Coles were in. There was good Cole and bad Cole. I remember. They were different characters.
All right, let's keep going.
I'm sorry, I just remember the opening intro thing because Bad Cole's just like evil and like, you know, grinning evilly and shooting lightning. And then to portray good Cole in this, you know, nobody's talking intro thing where PlayStation characters just fighting each other. He's sort of just like walking and smiling. It's like, look, that's the nice version of the character. He's smiling warmly.
We should do a show where we just watch a bunch of game intros and Chad throws out recommendations, and we could just do that for a little bit.
Oh, I think about those a lot. There's some all-timer ones. Smash Brothers Melee had a fantastic one. The original World of Warcraft and the World of Warcraft Burning Crusade ones, I think about all the time.
The ones that stick with me are usually weird, like not like they're weird games, but also it's weird that that's the one that stuck with me. Oddworld Munch's Odyssey.
Munch's Odyssey. I remember the Abe's Odyssey one. Yeah. I don't remember the Munch's Odyssey.
Munch's Odyssey's intro is bananas. Yeah, we'll have to do this. That would be fun. All right, let's see here. Pacific Drive to grow with a new Haunting expansion later this year. This is from Ben Lyons at Game Reactor. Developer Ironwood Studios has announced that its driving survival game, Pacific Drive, will be growing and expanding rather soon. As of later this year, we can expect the Whispers in the Woods expansion to make its arrival, and when it does, we'll have yet another reason to return to the Olympic Zone. As for what this expansion will add, we're told that we'll see the rise of a group of anomaly-based fanatics who inhabit the woods and mark their territory with peculiar symbols and effigies. The idea will be to learn more about this group by interacting with their altars to access new artifacts, to add to your station wagon, and improve how it can conquer the dangerous environments. Mike, it sounds like spooky content. Sounds like a spooky expansion. And that's the real reason I included this. You know, I enjoyed Pacific Drive, didn't play a ton of it. Could use this as an excuse to go back. Mostly, I just want to say, hey, how good of an idea is it to release DLC for your game that's Halloween themed or spooky season themed? It's just such a smart move to me, because people, when Halloween comes, people want Halloween bullshit. And if you want people to remember your game, new content that's themed as kind of like, ooh, the spooky effigies in the wood, it's Blair Witch, whatever. It's a good idea to me. Why don't we see more of that, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. There's such a hunger for Halloween. It's been such an amazing time for Halloween lately. Halloween stock is just constantly on the rise.
I'm invested in Halloween every dollar.
More and more people seem to love Halloween. I mean, maybe it's just my perspective as a kid. But as a kid, I don't remember adults caring about Halloween that much. And now I think some people are like, it should just be for kids. It's like a Disney adult. Like, oh, I should turn Halloween on the people who complain about Disney adults. I should just criticize them. I should be like, why are you celebrating Halloween? That's for kids. Can't you just let the kids enjoy this? Like, you're not passing out candy. You're going to a party instead. Aren't you being kind of selfish? Okay. I like
you got it. Man, I love when Toxic Mikey comes out and it has a plan of action. This is good stuff.
Yeah. I'm excited about this though.
Yeah, I'll look into this, and I hope more developers kind of see these seasonal themed things. I would take Christmas DLC for stuff as well. That would be great. But Halloween seems like the obvious good like business move,
right? You know, and I love Christmas and I love Christmas themed stuff. But you know, there are religious implications and other things there that a lot of people don't want to have to deal with.
You could just do the Japanese version. Annual gift giving man. He lives on the moon.
Yeah, eat a cake. It'll be fine. Dan Ricker says my thing with the Halloween adults is grasping at straws. I think I have a point.
It's the exact same thing. What are you talking about, Dan?
It's the exact same thing, actually.
It's the same thing.
If your argument is just, well, I like Halloween, that's not a good argument.
Yeah. I'd like people who make Halloween their entire personality probably, first of all, many of them are Disney adults. Let's be clear.
Let's be clear. There's an incredible crowd. I think it's a great thing. You should do it. I'm saying it's very pretty much what I'm doing.
What is the overlap with Crystal Mommy's Halloween and Disney adults?
There's a lot.
You know, it's interesting because I think
there's a lot.
I think that Crystal Mommy's Halloween cross section big, Disney adults and Halloween big, but Crystal Mommy's and Disney adults. I'm trying to think if there's much cross section there. There probably is, but I'm not sure.
There's a decent amount. Like, it's not as much as Halloween and Disney for sure, but yeah, they don't have like a Goop theme park they can go to, so they go to Disney. Circana shares the top 20 best-selling PlayStation platform games in the United States since that console is, what was it, its 30th anniversary yesterday of launching in the United States. It launched on 9/9,
the whole brand,
1995. And Matt Piscatello was like, hey, I have some data here. the top 20 best-selling games for all PlayStation platforms. And Mike, are you seeing the list? Do you see it in front of you?
Oh, I see it. I think there's a total of 5 franchises represented on this list.
Yep. Chat, why don't you guys throw out your guess for what the number 1 game is? That one's pretty easy. And then I want everyone to guess what you think the first Sony PlayStation published game is on this list and how many of those there are. Yep, Concord. That's right. Yep. Number 1 is GTA 5. Number 2, let's see here, is...
It's by dollars and by units, and
yes.
I kind of think units is a little bit more pure, personally.
Yes, let's go with units. Okay, so yes, number 1 is Grand Theft Auto 5. Then number 2 is Minecraft. Number 3 is Red Dead Redemption 2. Then Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. And then Call of Duty Modern Warfare at number 5. Now, for dollar sales, it's basically all Call of Duty. It's Grand Theft Auto at 1, Red Dead Redemption 2 at 3, Minecraft at 7, and then just a bunch of other Call of Duties. I guess Guitar Hero was in there a little bit. But going back to units, let's see. So we got Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019, then Marvel's Spider-Man at number 6, Call of Duty Black Ops 3 at number 7, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War at 8, Grand Theft Auto Vice City at number 9. God, that's like the original one. That's pretty impressive. Let's see here. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 2022 is number 10. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 at number 11. Then Miles Morales at 12. The Last of Us, God of War 2018, Skyrim. Then Call of Duty Black Ops at number 16. Rainbow Six Siege, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege at number 17. Then Call of Duty's Black Ops 2, World War 2, and Black Ops 4. It is a lot of Call of Duty, of course.
Yeah, I guess the only thing that surprises me, I know Siege was popular and all that. I didn't think it would be number 17 on this list of best-selling PlayStation platform games ever.
It's like one of those almost free to play games where it's like it gets cheap a lot, like $10, and it's been selling for years at this point, years and years and years, and it's got a huge esports scene, and that helps and stuff like that. But yeah, it's secretly one of the bigger online multiplayer shooter games of the last 10 years for sure. Yeah, I mean, the Marvel Spider-Man and let's see, The Last of Us, Miles Morales, God of War, these are your first party PlayStation games on there. PlayStation from day one, a third party system. There's been a lot of great Sony games, but those things have thrived because third party support has been strong, and it's been the default for most of those publishers, like for 30 years straight. And this chart definitely reflects that, as well as just Call of Duty's dominance, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Just, I don't know. Yeah, it is. It's like both not surprising and interesting to see how many things are third party. You know, like there's stuff like, like Uncharted is so important to PlayStation. It doesn't take anything away from it that's nowhere on this list. It's like, yeah, that's not on this list. You do get The Last of Us on there. It's a good point to do about how big Spider-Man was and how, they're certainly not done with that yet. I am curious to see if Wolverine even gets close to having the same kind of sales juice as that.
Yep.
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping that's a fun game. But yeah, nothing shocking here. It does make me think, we're getting Grand Theft Auto 6 very soon, and that's going to be a big deal. But then, yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2. It's funny because sometimes I just think that game is a game that sold like half of GTA 5 or something. Turns out that's still enough to be like one of the best-selling games ever. So they will almost certainly just go to Red Dead Redemption 3 after GTA 6, right?
Yeah, after many, many, many years of putting it all into GTA Online 2 or whatever that is. Yeah, they'll get back around to Red Dead Redemption. All right.
And you'll be so ecstatic.
Yeah, look, there's always a chance they could learn some lessons. No, there isn't. All right, that does it for the headlines. Let's get to the poll question. This one is from Monday. Let me bring it up right here and refresh to make sure I have the most recent and raw numbers. Are you having issues with Hollow Knight Silksong's difficulty? The options are yes, it's too hard. Yes, but that's fine. No, I got good. And no, I haven't played this video game. 53% of people have not played this video game in the number of respondents here. 26% say yes, I'm having issues, but that's fine. 13% said no, I got good. So twice as many people are having difficulties, but dealing with it. And then 9% say yes, it is too hard. So 1 out of 10 people are like, yeah, this is maybe even too difficult for me. That sounds about right for one of these hard games, right? Where they did actually probably strike a balance of making it as hard as they wanted it to while still being mostly welcoming. I don't know. I don't know what the perfect number is there for that sort of thing. But this also sounds about right for the reaction to this game as well. What do you think?
Yeah, not surprising. I mean, it's kind of that Dark Souls thing where part of the appeal is that the game is difficult. So that is inherently going to push some people away, but the idea is even more people are going to appreciate having that challenge. So I they did some fine tuning with that patch, but I think it's mostly where they want it to be.
Excellent. All right. Well, we have a new poll question before we do that. Mike Minotti, why don't you tell people where they could find you on the internet? Tell them about 90s Disney. You guys had a new episode you got recorded earlier this week, right?
Yeah, 90s Disney is the Disney podcast that I do with my brothers. We just did a episode about the Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular, which is a fun show that they've been doing over at Disney's Hollywood Studios, basically since that park opened in 1989. So yeah, check out 90s Disney. I can see what's happening on Giant Bomb. There's a section down here on this dock. What is happening at Giant Bomb? We got something here called Four Swords Fiesta.
Shut up. Don't blast me like that. These docks, it's like everything else in my life. If I don't need it, I ignore it.
There's a PlayStation Showcase popping up later, it seems, on this
No one
thing.
asked you.
When was Four Swords Fiesta? My God, that was like one of the first things I ever did here 2 years ago. All right. Yeah, that was May 25th, 2023. Fantastic. I can't wait to get back to that one. I bet Dan's a better co-op partner these days, right? It's going to go
inviting
great.
You back. This is the last time you're on the show.
But seriously, Blight Club happening very shortly after this. Maybe like try to eat something real quickly, because we got to play that and then get ready for this Acclaim showcase popping off later. Who knows what's going to happen there? It could be anything.
Could happen.
Anything could happen. It's a beautiful world, and we're all going to see the beauty of the world through the lens of Acclaim.
I can't wait. It's a busy day here at Giant Bomb. Stick around. We're going to be right back with some other stuff, including Blight Club. Real quick before we get out of here, Pig Booty Judy had a super chat here. Like if you beat Morwing and Sister Splinter pre-patch. I think that's definitely me. And I am toxic enough to that matters to me. I don't think it doesn't matter to me if anyone else does it. I don't care about anyone else, but me. I'm glad I did it that way.
Yeah, I'm a toxic piece of shit. I would tell people of course it doesn't matter, blah blah blah. But since I beat that final boss in Shadow of the Earth Tree before it got patched, and I'm still I'm kind of a big deal.
Exactly. All right, let's see here. I think we could wrap things up. We said what was happening on the website. Did we do the new poll question? We I don't think we did that.
No, you didn't do that yet.
Let's do that. What do you most want to see at Nintendo's Direct on Friday? Metroid Prime 4 release date, Mario anniversary games, a big new 2026 game, or Hades 2 Shadow Drop? Give us or you know what? There's a comment section. Let us know if you want something else as well. Jan will scroll through those. Maybe we can call out a couple of them. But we'll get your results, talk about them here on Game S Mornings tomorrow on Giant Bomb. With all that out of the way, Mike Minotti, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and talking about video games, man. I really appreciate it.
It's just so nice and refreshing to get to do a podcast with you, Jeff. Thank you.
It's different. It's a change of gears for both of us, I think. Thank you all for watching and listening. You're the best audience in gaming. Go back to Silk Song. Take care of yourselves, and goodbye.